So a few years ago, I looked at a then up-and-coming trading card game from the Southern Hemisphere called Flesh and Blood, and, well, the game is still around, and to my understanding, still doing great if their snazzy booth at PAX Unplugged was any indication. Flesh and Blood offers a unique sort of gameplay. There's no lands, no shields, no resource building, no card advantage, no careful plans, just whatever you have in your hands at the moment. Because you are no mighty lord marshalling the troops for combat, you are the troop, and that big palooka standing in front of you carrying a tree like a crude bludgeon has only you in his sights. If Magic is a game about prediction, where gauging how your opponent will react is an important skill, if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game about preparation, where you try to make your board as resilient to your opponent's moves as possible, and if Pokemon is a game about investment, where you must allocate your volatile resources carefully, then Flesh and Blood is a game about opportunity. Flesh and Blood is a game where your cards are also your currency and your hand refills at the end of your turn. A fresh set of opportunities that you must decide how to spend. Taking an opportunity here will shut a door there, and even trying to hold on to a card between turns means one fewer card that you draw at the end. It properly captures the moment-to-moment terror of a real fistfight, where situations constantly change and you have to take every opportunity that you can in order to survive. It's a great game if you want a more intimate feel to your combat, but it has kind of been suffering from a pretty serious problem: legendary cards. So Flesh and Blood has several rarities beyond rare. The biggest one, Fabled Rare, consists of exceptionally rare trophy cards that a game can manage fairly well without. Majestic Rares, which are, well, mythic rares, but in the middle of these two are the legendary rares, the source of our problem. Because even though you tend to only ever need one copy of any given legendary rare, which come less than once per booster box, you tend to need an entire suite of legendary cards, especially equipment cards, in order to have a chance at competing. Trying to get away with lower rarity or token equipment might as well be like bringing a gun to a knife throwing competition. Whoa. This difficulty of often very basic access has been a thorn in the side of Flesh and Blood for a very long time, and so, in response to this problem, they hope to fix a lot of this situation by introducing the Silver Age format. Now, this isn't the first time that Flesh and Blood has made an alternative format. Blitz format comes to mind, where players use smaller, more aggressively built decks with heroes at half health to make games faster and more brutal, but the Silver Age format is different. So yeah, fun story about alternative formats. Lots of games have alternative formats, such as those that make use of different stretches of cards, such as Magic's standard and modern formats, or Yu-Gi-Oh's recent dabblings in Genesis, but Silver Age is Flesh and Blood's attempt at a Pauper format. A Pauper format, as the name suggests, is a format that specifically excludes cards of higher rarities, leaving players only to work with common cards that are easy to get, and usually none of the standard capstone or win condition cards that tend to be rare and expensive, designed to drive pack sales and high-stakes tournaments. Now, I'm sure a few people out there are like, "Oh, look, they made a format for the poors," but that ignores a lot of the history of Magic the Gathering's own Pauper format, and other games that have lower-powered formats such as competitive Pokemon or horse racing. At its best, a Pauper format is an exercise in player creativity, where finding small edges in this limited card pool matters more than who has the bigger purse. Silver Age, or Sage as they like to call it, is Flesh and Blood's take on this format. But rather than limiting it to just common cards, Sage format also lets you use rare cards, excluding the Majestic, Legend, and Fabled rares instead, so you still get to have a few punchy cards, character specializations, and bombs, but none of the crazy expensive top rarity cards that gatekept so many players. It also plays in the style of Blitz, using the young versions of the characters with only 40 card decks at playset 2. But Sage isn't just a new format, it's a full-on release, as shown with this fancy box that Legend Story Studios sent me to peruse. It's certainly one of the biggest boxes I've been sent, and yes, I actually saved these. It's a bit of an ostentatious way to present a set of 5 starter decks perhaps, but it's got style. These new decks, it seems, are focused on those characters that have or are on the verge of obtaining Living Legend status. Living Legend is basically the game's rotation system, where a character who wins a lot of major and national events is rotated out once they hit a certain points threshold. And it seems the Sage format is an effort to give those rotated heroes a new lease on life. Checking online, there is still a ban list for Sage, and it seems to contain a lot of the same cards as standard constructed, along with a lot of basic equipment like Snapdragon Scalers and Hearten Crossstrap. Oh, I use both of those! There's also one hero, Shane, who cannot be used in Sage, but so far he's the only one. On the plus side, this means that I can revive my Dash and Prism decks, which were previously on the Living Legends list, though I also got some more cards for Levia I've been wanting to try. These decks come in much larger, more attention-grabbing boxes than the ones used before, contain 2 suites of equipment and even a small sideboard along with the young character, a 40-card constructed deck, and a bonus booster pack. Nice! Only missing a life tracker, but since we're using the young versions of the characters, any old MTG spin down that you can get at your local game store for like $1 will work just fine. Maybe a product to consider for the future. The contents of this deck also answer a question that I had. So many of the cards in this deck are the same cards as my 2020 Bravo starter deck, which tells me that Sage is in fact an eternal format, and I assume these decks include a lot of these older cards in order to help people get their hands on them, though I feel like a lot of the more common cards are pretty easy to get considering the chase for legendary equipment. The booster pack included, Compendium of Wrath, is a non-draftable Legendary Treasure style set meant to contain a lot of cards designed to help get Sage format going, with what appears to be a whopping 3 rare slots. Now, of course, it's not entirely a set for Sage format, as there are still a few chase cards here and there for people who still want to play in Standard or maybe want to get a leg up into the format, but as for the Sage format itself, what will make it or break it will be whether it acts as a mere low-level copy of Standard format minus all of the cool bomb cards, or if it really will be a vibrant cocktail of creative deck building and play. A good Pauper format will develop its own metagame and its own style that makes it a very different watch from a Standard format game. And I hope to see it, with the gold level Standard competitive being all about haymakers and flashy cards, and Sage format being all about edging out an advantage here and there as you carefully pace and strategize, using completely different approaches from Standard competitive. Now, I confess, I haven't really been playing Flesh and Blood for a while, obviously because it was difficult getting the legendary equipment needed to even get a foot in the door, so I'm not sure if this Pauper format already existed in the fan space, but we will see how well it manages to bring out player creativity, and I look forward to seeing it. Until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.